Rolling, Titans fans. Welcome back to the Gold Coast Titans Frontline Podcast. This is the most ad-lib episode we've ever done. We've got nothing prepared other than we are going to do a draft. My name is Dane from Clarkey's Rugby League column, joined by my co-host Blaze from BKRsport. Mate, what's been going on?
Man, I've been smacking my fitness now. We're 2.5 weeks deep into the fitness, which is really, really good. And looking forward to today. We've actually done a draft before. Obviously, Dane will go through what basically it entails in a moment, but we've done a draft before on my channel, BKRsport, on YouTube, where we actually came up against each other, but we had a lot more preparation for that one. This one, we've deliberately made it harder for ourselves, which is quite funny, and as you're going to find out in a second, it's gotten a little bit more difficult. But yeah, no, look, the off-season's going all right. Obviously, we've got the International Rugby League that's been going on, and it was good to see my Fiji Butty win, but not in the way that they won, but still good to see the Fiji Butty win.
Who's been your favourite Titan to watch in rep footy at the moment? I'm going to say Kieran Foran for my pick. He got bumped a few times, but man, he had a lot of heart in the middle there. I think 30-plus tackles. Really, really good for Foz at hooker there. I'll go Foz. Are you going to go someone else?
I'm probably going to go Keanu. I loved what Keanu did in the New Zealand A's team. Like, obviously, he wasn't in the New Zealand team, but, that New Zealand A's team, he had an absolute stunning game in that one. And, it just continues to provide that dilemma and that question around who is our fullback. And I know that it is between JC and AJ when no one's debating that, but future-wise, Keanu kind of needs a spot because although he's extremely young and humble, and again, like, I know this guy, I know he's really, has the ability to wait. I know other teams will come in and just try and lure him away. So, I'm a little bit nervous about that long term, but at the end of the day, I just think that Keanu is an exceptional talent and will just get better and better.
Yeah, I did my Titans 17 recently. I put Keanu at 14. And I put Jaden at fullback and Brimson at centre. I agree with you, man. It's just to the point where, like, we need to give Keanu some game time because other clubs are going to come knocking, and they're going to come knocking very. So I think everyone's aware of the talent he has.
Yeah.
The only player I can think last year that debuted with more hype is probably Sualavi Fa'alongo from the Storm.
Oh, I just want to say, Fa'alongo is incredible, and it just shows the fullback talent that we have not us, obviously, but across the NRL. The fullback talent is just absolutely immense because, if it wasn't for Fa'alongo, Keanu Kenny's name would be completely out there and everyone would be talking about him, but Fa'alongo has just been that next step up, but he's in that Storm system, so, at least we don't have to worry about the Storm trying to steal our guy because they've got their guy.
Fa'alongo is like a mixture of Carmichael Hunt, where he brings the ball back with excitement every run. And I'm trying to think what else. It's not just Carmichael. He's got something else about him, man, like a 2012 Ben Barber with the way he moves. Preston Campbell, actually, is another one. They just got that movement that it just troubles defenders. Just quietly, another game I'm pretty keen on is the Women's Pacific Championship. 6 p.m. this Saturday for me, which would be 5 p.m.
5 p.m. AEST, yeah.
5 p.m. Queensland time. We got Jamie Chapman on the wing there. I love that Shannon Marto and Jessica Ellison are the starting props. All season, as far as NRLW is concerned, on this podcast and on other Instagram pages, you and I have actively said we have the best props.
Yep.
That's obviously proven there. But then we are coming up against our captain, Georgia Hale. She is the captain and lock for the Kiwi Ferns. So that will be an absolute cracking game. You have an early tip for that one?
I'm going to have to go with Australia. I think that Australia is Australia and we know how quality they are. When the Australians took on the Kiwis recently, actually, it was a really close game. But overall, Australia should be the best there, especially with the forwards that they have, the backs they have. It's just a really balanced team. And New Zealand have a good team too, but Australia is the best.
Yeah, and especially in the women's game, New Zealand are a clear second.
Yeah.
Certainly second. No arguments about that, but we always seem to get them. Which is usually the theme in the men's game as well, but they have sprung more upsets in the men's game than they have in the women's game there. Looking over to the men's side of the house, one thing I didn't like about the Pacific Championships was,
I know what you're
number one, it wasn't explained very well. So Papua New Guinea can't make the final against Australia. They're in a separate league with Fiji and Cook Islands.
Yep.
They're in the Pacific Bowl. And then it
then
just
you
felt
play
like
each other
they
back
just...
to back, basically. So basically,
Exactly.
so if you win in the group stage, you play the second in the group stage. But that's probably for example, this week Australia versus New Zealand, and then the week after is Australia versus New Zealand again, and in the other group it's Papua New Guinea versus Fiji, and the week after it's Papua New Guinea versus Fiji again. It's ridiculous.
It's very, very poorly scheduled. Tino, not dropped from the Australian side. You wouldn't say dropped. He's been rested, of course, because we're going to play them back-to-back. And I don't know, do you get the vibe that Samoa were kind of just fed to the Wolves there? Like, if they really wasn't fair for them to be a part of this competition, in my opinion anyway.
To be fair with Samoa, they deliberately played a younger, and I kept trying to tell people this on the streets. People were like, "Oh, Samoa are going to be good, man. You know, they made the World Cup final." I'm like, I know, I watched every game, I streamed every game of the World Cup, and I know rugby league, but I also know that they deliberately played a very young team. They also had no Luai. They played Stephen Crichton in 6, which is just no. Like, no, it's not. No. So, you know, we all knew that anyone who knew rugby league knew Samoa were going to get absolutely slapped by both teams. And the crazy thing is Australia completely clocked off after 20 minutes and still won by that margin. Like, they still won by a very hefty margin and clocked off 20 minutes into the game. So it tells you everything you need to know.
Just looking at Stephen Crichton's career to date, he'd never played 5/8 in the NRL. The closest you'd say is fullback, where he had 7 games for 5 wins. But I remember he played fullback in the World Club Challenge, and he had some really key errors, which at the time you could kind of put down to, hey, pre-season, in a spine position, fatigues at a higher level, wet weather conditions against NLs. I wasn't too concerned. But now I'm thinking, if I'm the Bulldogs, I'm looking at Stephen Crichton and I'm going, look, we've got the best centre in the world here. Let's just play him at centre. But of course, that debate always rages where someone like him should play. A little bit like AJ Brimson for us next year. Now, his first game for us next year in round 1 will be his 100th NRL game.
I did see that,
stick. The draw isn't released yet, but
we just got to really hope
that
it's against... Yeah, please be at home. Please be at home. Please be against the Dragons.
Look, I honestly don't care who it's against, but that needs to be at home. That'd just be such an electric atmosphere. Brimo's 100th, potentially in his new position of centre. Hopefully he crosses for a meat pie. Des in control, his first game. And on Des, actually, well, it looks like he's starting to get involved in the club now. He's had his first interview in Titans colours. He's been plotting stuff behind the scenes for a while now, but Desi is in full effect. We spoke about it on the podcast, and I did see the Bloke in a Bar podcast with Rugby League Guru. He mentioned how every single fullback that's ever played under Des Hasler has gone to like a new level.
Yeah.
Ben Barber 2012, Tom Trbojevic 2021, and that's really, really exciting for our side, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. And we actually kind of did speak about this before. I think it was early on when we found out Desi was going to be the coach, was that we knew that somebody was going to take it up. And I remember I actually genuinely said, who's going to take over that Tom Trbojevic role? I wasn't even thinking about the Ben Barber one, but, you know, who's going to take over Tom Trbojevic? Is it Jaden Campbell or is it AJ? You know, so, and to be fair, like, JC is probably the kind of build that you'd be thinking about in regards to what a Desi would like, and he has been, well, they've been alluding to in the media that AJ's going centre, but we've known that for a very long time. Media, don't worry, you're not ahead of everybody else. But yeah, look, I'm really excited. Desi's been around the club for a while now. It's just that obviously he has been completely behind the scenes. He didn't want to derail Jimmy Lenahan's season as the coach, and Desi is really, really, you know, I speak to Steve quite regularly, and Steve Mitchell, our CEO, for anyone who doesn't know, and Steve is so passionate and so pumped about how Desi is going to go with this club. He is so believing in him, and I trust Steve, man. I really do trust Steve, and I think that it's very clear and evident that Desi is, well, firstly, he's our first ever coach that has won an NRL premiership before, and secondly, you know, he just has that ambition to, I guess, prove the haters wrong. You know, there has been a lot of hate surrounding his Manly days and what happened there at the back end, and, you know, that whole saga actually happened when Manly were at a really critical point of their season where they could have still made the top 8. Instead, they obviously completely fell off because of what happened, and we're not going to go into that. But the fact of the matter is that the season wasn't actually as bad just yet. They were playing the Roosters that week and could have easily gone up, but instead completely tanked it because of the saga. So, you know, I'm willing to give Desi the credit. I really do believe in him going into the future, and I really think that, it's going to be a massive year for the club in 2024 with Desi. Yeah,
I remember that game against the Roosters where it all kind of fell apart for Manly that year. I was into betting at that stage on the internet, and I took Roosters with like a 12.5 head start because I genuinely expected it to be a coin flip. Once that news came, obviously it was pretty obvious Roosters were going to clean them up there, which they did.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that his battle with Manly is still playing out in the courts at the moment.
Yeah.
I did read in newspapers that our club was actually going to be called in to give evidence or something like that. So,
wait, we're being called to give evidence on behalf of him or against him?
I believe Manly's legal team are going to, I can't remember the exact legal term, but it's a term where like someone has to come to court and say something. So they're going to get, our executives are going to get questioned maybe on.
Oh, man, this is going to be a fire rivalry with Manly coming up. We've already had the Cherry Evans scenario. We've already had them trying to force a fore into backflip on us as well. Now we've got this stuff. And, it's going to be a fire rivalry with Manly, man. I can see the media now. They're just going to have Desi versus Manly. And don't you worry, man. If there's anybody to fire that up, it's going to be me. So just watch the socials, man. Watch the socials when we play Manly. And my dad's a Manly fan too, so slap Manly, slap them.
No, I actually really hope that we actually play them twice. Hopefully once at home and once in Sydney. I want to go to that Sydney game with you. That'll be awesome. All right, let's jump into the draft. So we'll name 17 each, and we'll name a coach. Rules of the draft. You've got 10 seconds to make a pick. No tabs can be opened on any computers of Titans players. You can have a quick scroll now. I'm happy to have a quick... Do you want to have a rule? We can have a quick scroll before, or do you want me to close my tab now?
I'm all good, so it's up to you if you want to do that. I'll just go off the top of my head.
I've just closed that tab. I've got no tabs open besides the list where I'm writing who we're picking in each one. 10 seconds. Any Titans players throughout history can be selected, and whoever gets the most comments on YouTube as the winner is the winner of the draft. Now, the last thing we need to establish is how do we pick who goes first? Have you got anything in mind here?
I'm not too sure. I also want to just say as well, I completely gapped this, so I don't know if you mentioned this, but the other person will get to select. If you don't make your selection in 10 seconds, the other person will get to make a selection for you in any position, in any player. So it can really mess up the other person in a really drastic way. Like, for example, as we said last week, Isan Masters into the 12 or into the 10, even though he had a good game with the Cook Islands actually on the weekend. But,
put him in half. I'm going to select him first at half.
Yeah, exactly.
If he plays like that.
It will be quite funny. But, I don't know. Maybe... Gee whiz, how do we actually define this? Because the thing is, and also another thing, guys, I know that the internet right now for Clarkey side of things is a little bit dodgy. It's struggling, but we're doing our best, obviously. So we can't really do a scissors, paper, rock because we won't be able to actually see each other do it.
So I'll pick one player from our NRL team. Yep. If you can get within 20 amount of games that they've played in the NRL, you go first. If not, I go first.
Yeah, okay, go for it. Let's do it.
Alrighty. The player I've just clicked on, oh my God, you won't believe how many games he's got. It's Jamin Jolliffe. How many NRL games has Big Jimmy played?
Oh, damn. This is actually a really random one. This is a tough one, to be fair. Really, you couldn't give me like a Phil Sammy or an AJ or anything like that? Like, damn. Jim Jolliffe, within 20. Has he had his milestone yet? I don't know. How long's Big Jimmy been around for? I'm going to go with his... I don't even know if he's hit 100 yet. I really don't know. How old's Jimmy? Gee whiz, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm going to go with... 65 and just give it kind of a range. No, you know what? I'm going to go with 75 so I can get an extra range.
Oh, well, you got it either way. He's played 69 games, and I did not plan that. I'm out. I literally just clicked and he happened to have 69. Big Jimmy debuted with us in 2020, so you get to go first in the draft. Fair play, you got me there.
I knew he hadn't reached the 100 marker yet, and I knew that if I just kind of went, because I know he's played longer than like 27, like a one season kind of deal, so 24. So yeah, I think that was just a really good, like, educated guess. But I had no idea, man. Like, it could have been anything. It really could have been anything.
That was a fluke. Just call it as it is. Nah, I'm only joking. It was a good guess. Alrighty, well, that means you go first in the Gold Coast Titans frontline draft. You have 10 seconds to make your pick. Go.
I really don't know who I'm going to select here. I'm going to have to maybe just throw a random one out here and put Scotty Prince, because I don't know who you're going to go in the 7. I got Scotty Prince, man. You're up for 2 and 3.
I knew that you would grab. Alrighty, I am going to go Preston Campbell for fullback.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go Tino in the front row. I'll take, Preston Campbell fullback, Tino front row.
Oh, damn.
You are up for your pick.
That's awesome, man, because I'm going to go straight and I'm going to select Matty Rogers into the number 6 there. So I've got our partnership there, our partnership who got us obviously to our prelim. All right, so next up here, I'm going to go and I'm going to select Luke Bailey into the front row. So I'm going to take one of those big boppers.
All right, so you got 2 picks there. I get 2 picks as well?
Yep.
Or are we back to 1 pick each now?
No, it's 2 picks. Don't try. You've got 5 seconds, man.
Alrighty, Nathan Friend at hooker. That buys me another 10 seconds.
It does.
And I'm going to go Dave Fafita at back row.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. All right, damn. Alrighty, so we're going to go with David Mead on one wing. And I am going to... I've got 7 seconds or so left. Jeez, this is actually harder. You know what? I'm going to go David Mead and Kevin Gordon. I thought that was one of our best wing pairings ever. And before ACL injury, Kevy G, I tell you what, it was one of the best. So let's go Dave Mead and Kevy Gordon. You're up.
Alrighty, I need to look at centres now. So first pick, I'm going to go James Roberts. I feel like he had solid form with us. And I've got 10 seconds here to think of another Titans centre. No one's really jumping out. I'm going to go ahead and just pick Anthony Dunn on the wing as well.
Oh, you were 1 second away, man. That was literally 1 second away. All right, let's go into the... we're going to go with... We're going to go Jai Arrow 13. Bang, slapped that. Jai Arrow for 13. And then the other front row forward, I'm going to go... You know what? I'm going to go Moaki Fodawaker. I'll take the big Mo into my other front row forward there alongside Lukey Bailey. It makes it so hard too, man, because we've got to write this down as well.
I know. I want to buy myself 10 seconds here. My coach is Des Hasler. Ooh. And I'm going to select Greg Bird at 13 as well for my 2 picks.
Oh, yeah, Birdie. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Oh, good. I don't have to think about a coach until very much last. All right. Let's go into... Geez, you know what? I'm going to buy myself some time. I'm going to go with the AJ Brimdog Millionaire into the centres. I'm going to put him into... Actually, can we do that? Because he has played centre for us, actually. Yeah, he has. He has played centre for us. And then the other one I will go with... you know what? I'm going to have Jaden Campbell at 14.
Literally what I was thinking then as well.
Bang.
Shit, the pressure is so on me right now. I need to pick someone. I am gonna pick...
Dude, there was 10 seconds, maybe. There was 10 seconds. Alright, let me think.
Who am I putting where?
Let me think who you putting where. Let's go. You know what? You have a pretty good back row right now at Davey Fafita, man. And I'm actually kind of struggling for a back row because I haven't got anyone yet. So I'm going to give you... I am going to give you Isan Masters into the... I'm going to give you Isan Masters into the number 12.
That is absolutely horrible. But I still have a second pick here.
You do
so I'm going to go Mark Minicello on my bench. I'll go Mini.
Okay. Is that who you were going to put into the back row just then?
It was. I was just trying to... Yeah. It just completely slipped my mind.
Damn, I'm struggling to think. I'm going to... You know what? I'm thinking I might go into the... damn, this is actually... I'm going to go Lukey Douglas. I think Lukey Douglas off the bench. He was one of my favourite players of all time, man, for the Gold Coast Titans. I'll go Lukey Douglas. Dude, I'm, like, really struggling here for back rowers right now. I'm really... Oh, you know what? Bowie Firma. Oh, bang. Bowie Firma. Oh, how would I forget about Bowie Firma? And also, just quickly, before Clarkey gets in here, for people listening at home, this is really hard because we're having we're quickly going. We've got 10 seconds. We're writing it down, and we're going to go through all our players. Oh, it's freaking me out. It's freaking me out.
It's so hard to think of players within 10 seconds, but at 5'8", I'm going to go Aiden Caesar.
Yep.
And in my other centre position, I am going to go... I've got someone in my head, but I don't want to name him unless I absolutely have to... Conrad Harrell.
Connie Harrell. I love it. Yeah, Conrad Harrell. Jeez, he's still cracking on too. Still playing for Tonga. All right. Well, number 9. You know what? Just so you don't take him as your 14, I'm going to take Matty Sarama here. Matty Sarama into my number 9. And I need a... Jeez, you know what? Who am I going to go... It's Akili Tonga. I'll take Ezekiel Tonga in my 4. Yeah, that's... Oh, gee whiz. That's not... Yeah, you know what? It's a centre. It's a centre. And he was a part of our 2010 winning prelim winning team. Prelim getting to team, sorry.
I don't know why right now, but I can't think of a solid Titans winger. No one's jumping out. At halfback, I'm going to go Jerome Hughes and be super cheeky. He played one game for us. And I'm going to go Jordan Rapana on the other wing.
Oh, you
Now,
sneaky
these guys
man.
didn't have the best Titans form. Well, they didn't play much games for us, but it counts. They did play for us. That was a very, very cheeky selection. So your turn, go.
Damn, this is so hard at this point. Actually, can I pause this for 1 second as I ask you a question?
It's dodgy, but I'll allow it.
I've got the player in my head, but I want to make sure that I can actually do this. So you just said, your words, their form at the Titans wasn't great, but you wanted that player. So basically you're taking in their form, right?
I know who you're thinking, but it doesn't count the same because these guys were young when they were with us.
Hey.
Saying,
hey. So are you taking...
You can pick it, but the fans can decide.
All right, okay. We'll give him my 10 seconds again. I'll wipe out Jared Hayne. He can't be used as the fullback. But I just had that question based on what you just said just then. All right. Okay, we'll start again. Bang. There we go. Gee whiz, I should have just put AJ into the fullback there because I could take Willie Zillman here. You know what? I think I kind of have to. I'm going to take Will Zillman. I kind of have to. What?
I would have taken him at 14 if you didn't take him, and that was a nice little memory for me.
Yeah. All right, I got one more here. One more, and that is... Oh, man, who's played back? Oh, Nate Miles. Bang. You know what? We'll chuck him into the back row we're going to take him into the back row, actually, alongside Bowie Firma.
Oh, now I really need to think. Who was a good prop with us around the Nate Miles era?
Oh, yeah, he was a prop. I forgot it was... Well, it doesn't matter. He can play back row. He can play back row.
He can go there. Bench, I'm going Gavin Cooper.
Yep.
Start my 10 seconds again. So I get Gavin Cooper there. Nathan Peets will be my pick if I can't come up with a prop. Nathan Peets at 14.
All right, Nathan Peets 14. Bang. All right, what else have we got here? Okay, I'm thinking. If I don't have anything else, I take Jimmy Jolliffe. If I don't have anything else, I have to take Jimmy Jolliffe because I can't think of anybody else right now. I'm taking Jamie Jolliffe. That's it. I'm just taking him. There's one, and that'll give me one extra time limit. So I've got a couple of guys there. I'm trying to think back to like 2012. Oh, I can't even think. You know what? I will just take... You know what? I'll let you... Because I gave you one player, you can give me my 17.
And this doesn't have to be within 10 seconds, so I can really think this out.
No, you can really think this one out. Because I thought it'd be a little bit... Because I'm not letting you have... Oh, no. I just realised what I've done. Oh, no, please don't think about what I'm thinking. I'm scared because I have a bad feeling you're about to think about what I'm thinking about.
I haven't because it would jump out at me right now. Dave Taylor's coming to mind, but I feel like he wasn't one of our worst players. He was down there with his seasons with us.
I'm so scared.
I'm just trying to... It's like... I feel disrespectful trying to think like who...
I know. It is sad, but in the same sense, like it's all a bit of fun.
Worst possible type I can give you of all time. See, I think so positive about our club. I can't even think of one right now.
Well, you can just put someone... because the thing is, it's hard for you as well, because if you just give me any kind of player, it kind of works with the 17.
Exactly, it does. That's what I mean, you've got Jaden Campbell there, so I kind of want to give you another back.
Yeah.
Who was a bad back for us? Dude, I can't even,
I'm so terrible.
Think of anyone. I've got someone in mind. They weren't particularly bad for us. They just didn't do much. Jonas Pearson, and it would just be a random pick for you. But to be honest, I should also be buying this time to think of who my last two players are going to be, which I haven't done yet.
Go on, you can keep thinking.
I'm sure everyone at home right now is so frustrated because they know exactly who I should be picking right now, but it's under the pressure right now. I can't really think of
Oh yeah, because you're gonna kick yourself when I tell you why I was so terrified. You're gonna kick yourself.
Yeah, man, I've got nothing. And I still can't even think of a prop, so I haven't even helped myself there.
All right, I'm going to have to push you for someone, just anyone.
Alrighty, Jonas Pearson. It's like he's not a bad player for us. He just didn't do much. It was just a random kind of winger that was there as depth for a few years.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Of course, you've got 10 seconds to pick your coach. I'm guessing it's going to be Holbrook.
Well, so the best thing here, right? The reason why I was terrified is because you had the 17 coach to select. You could have selected Garth Brennan.
I missed it. Yeah, dude, 100%. That would have been an awesome move.
Yeah,
I narrowed in on players, but you're right. That would have really hurt you there.
Yeah, and also that was my second. So you've got 2 picks now, and you're 10 seconds on now.
Okay, but you're taking Holbrook for your coach?
No, I don't. It's not my turn yet. It's not my turn. I did Jimmy Jolliffe and I did Jonas Pearson.
Alrighty, now I feel like this doesn't even my bench up very well, but I'm gonna select Kieran Foran. I'm going to select Foz. It feels a bit stupid, but I just can't think of anyone else.
I would have selected him in 6 if I didn't get Matty Rogers.
I'm really stuck on this last bench spot. No one's coming to mind. I'm just going to lock in Chris Randall. It's not a bad pick with his recent form, but I just can't think of anyone.
I've mistaken someone here. So who is you've got Tino, and who is your 10?
Chris Randall.
Oh, Chris Randall's your 10. Okay.
He's my 10, yep. So my bench is Pete's, Minicello. I'll go through my side now. Because your coach is Holbrook, right?
Do I go with Holbrook or do I go with Cartwright? I'm going to go Johnny Cartwright because he got us to a prelim.
Okay, that's a good pick.
And also, you kind of add in as well the fact that he has helped take the Broncos to the grand final last year, and also, along with that, helped the Cowboys to win the premiership in 2015.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a solid coach. He was even looking at the Blues job there. So my side is as follows. Fullback, Preston Campbell. On the wings, I got Don and Rapiner. Our centres is James Roberts and Connie Hurrell. My starting halves is Aiden Caesar and Jerome Hughes. My front row is Tino, Nathan Friend and Chris Randall. My back row is a Dave Fafita and Isan Masters, but that's Cook Island's halfback Isan Masters form. Greg Bird is my lock. My bench is kind of silly. Nathan Peets, but I'm going to play him in more of like a lock role, kind of like how Chris Randall plays for us now, and he can come on in the middle if required. Mark Minicello, Adam Cooper, and I know Coops and Minicello are more edge players. I'm going to put Mini in the middle. Kieran Foran is my other utility, and my coach is Des Hasler. Where did you land with your side?
Yeah, just for everyone, it kind of cut a little bit there. He got Mark Minicello, Gavin Cooper, and Kieran Foran as his 15, 16, and 17. And I also want to question you on something. I want to throw a question. So you selected Desi Hasler as the coach, right? So that's based on his previous form, right?
Well, yeah, it has to be. Really, he doesn't have any Titans form yet. It's also based on blind optimism by myself.
I'm just throwing it out there. Jared Hayne probably could have been selected. Just throwing it out there.
So when I was like, I can't think of a centre, I'm going to go Connie Hurrell. I wanted to name Jared Hayne so bad, but I just felt that's don't get me wrong. Naming Jerome Hughes and Rapiner is like super cheeky, right? But I feel like Jared Hayne is a next level of cheekiness. I couldn't bring myself to do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your side for others.
A couple little questionable ones there, but in the same sense, it's difficult, guys. Like, we'll allow it for sure. With my fullback, I went with William Zillman. I could easily change this around through 3 guys because I got AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell there, but I went with Will Zillman because I was silly enough to put JC as my 14, not fullback. On the wings, I had, but Zilly was actually, I don't actually know the disrespect for Zillman. I really don't, because he actually really helped us in some really dire times for us as well, and was one of our better players, to be completely honest with you. I really, and Zilly is a fantastic bloke. Know him well. He's doing well right now in post-career as well with his horses. But no, Zilly is my fullback. We had on the wings David Mead and Kevin Gordon. I really don't think you can beat that wing pairing. You know, I know that Anthony Don had the most tries, or has the most tries, but David Mead and Kevin Gordon were our heydays. Like, that was the real quality, buddy, bing bang smack up that we had early on. before Kevy G obviously went and had his injury in Melbourne. Then I have AJ Brimson and Ezekiel Tonga in the centres. Tonga was part of our team in 2010 that got us to the prelim, and AJ Brimdog millionaire. I want to see him in the centres. I know he's a great quality player, man. Could easily put him in the fullback, but he's in the centres. In the 6 and 7, I don't think you can beat this 6 and 7, to be fair, with Scotty Prince in the 7 and Matty Rogers in the 6. Another 2 pairing there for the prelims. Obviously we didn't win that prelim, but with that being said, it was always going to be really hard for Dane here to actually find a 7, because we've actually struggled with our 7 throughout times. That's why I'm okay with him taking Jerome Hughes there, because then you've got to look through who else. What was there? Ash Taylor.
Ash Taylor.
LG. We're not going to name another one. It's been a real struggle in the 7 department. But then obviously we've got Tan now and we had Tobes and whatnot. And then you go to the front row. Moaki Fodawaker and Luke Bailey. Oh, big bopper. Oh, big boppers, man. That is a juicy front row with Matty Sarama in the number 9 as well. Matty Sarama was actually really good for us, but injuries unfortunately really smacked him. They really smashed him there. Matty Sarama, great bloke. Back row here, I've got Bowie Firma and Nate Miles. Now, Nate Miles obviously did play more front row, but I was really struggling at that point. So I'm really happy with Bowie Firma and I'm really happy with Nate Miles. Just slap that up on each side with Jai Arrow as the 13. He's a great player, Jai Arrow. Really happy with that selection. And then you go to the 14, Jaden Campbell. He's going to slap up wherever you want to put him. Wherever you want to put him, slaps it up. And then the bench is Luke Douglas, Jimmy Jolliffe. And then I did give Dane a free one there with Jonas Pearson to even up the Esau Masters in the back row. My bench was Jaden Campbell, Luke Douglas, Jimmy Jolliffe, and Jonas Pearson, with the coach being Johnny Cartwright.
And Jonas Pearson's not really a bad pick. It's just a random pick. But let's scroll through and look at some of the players that we skipped under the pressure of time. Anthony LaFranchi. How did he go unpicked?
Oh, the big bull.
He was unreal for us.
I should have put him in the back row. I should have put Nate Miles as the bench in the back row buffer.
Luke O'Dwyer, over 100 games for us from 2007 to 2013. Could play centre back row. He could have been handy on the bench. Ashley Harrison.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. I had to pick him.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he was a part of that Maroons 8 in a row, the heyday.
Oh, Harrow, yeah. Big
People
are going to be screaming at their screens, but they don't realise it was so hard. 10 seconds is so hard.
I know. It was, there was like the pressure I felt when I couldn't get a prop, because then all I could think about was props. Yeah. And it just threw me off. Like, even Matty White would have been handy. 125 games for us. Who else went unpicked that would have been really handy? Clinton Torpy or two? It would have been a really... Oh, my God. Ryan James.
Oh, Rhino, yeah.
Like, I would have had him on the bench for sure with reflection over...
for you, Ryan James, because I've got Moaki, Luke Bailey, Lukey Douglas, and Jimmy Jolliffe. So and Nate Miles, to be fair. So I'm pretty okay with the front rowers. But for your team for sure. Yeah.
I'm nervous. Yeah, I think your forward pack would roll mine. If I'm being absolutely honest. And wingers as well. As you said, once you lock up Mead and Kevin Gordon, Anthony Don is the next logical pick, as he is our leading all-time try scorer. But I didn't even think, Rapin is a cheeky pick, but I would have been comfortable just picking Sammy or AKP based on what they did last year.
I think you obviously...
Albert Kelly?
Yeah, Albie Kelly. He's a good number 6 role there. I think that if I'm going to go through and rank these teams, fullback-wise, Presto wins. Obviously, you win on the fullback there, so you're 1-0. I think on the wings of mine, Meady and Gordon versus your Rapana and Donny, I'll take the win there with the wingers. Centres-wise, AJ Brimson and Ezekiel Tonga against James Roberts and Connie Rell. I think that you take it with the fact that James Roberts is the guy there. He won Centre of the Year. In regards to the halves there, Matty Rogers and Scott Prince against Caesar and Hughes, I'll take the win with that one. So that's 2-2. You go to the front row, Moaki Fodawaker and Bailey against Tino and Chris Randall. I'll take the win with that front row, so that's 3-2. But the 9, Nathan Friend, you beat Matty Strama, so that's 3-3. So it's pretty close right now. The back row is quite a funny one. We've got Bo Firm and Nate Miles versus Dave Fafita and Esau Masters. So I'll go the 4 there, even though I do love Big Davey there. The 13 is an interesting one. Who do you think wins that battle? Is it Jai Arrow or Greg Bird? I think maybe Greg.
I think Greg's a better player overall, but I think Jai was better for us because he was there in those years, man, where I remember I'd watch and see Shannon Boyd blowing out the back, too tired and fatigued to take a hit up, and Jai would just be I'll have 2 in a row. He just worked so hard. So I would actually give it to you if I'm absolutely honest, even though Greg Bird because we've seen his career, we acknowledge him as the better player. If we're talking the better Titan, I'd probably go Jair if I'm honest.
I personally would say Greg Birds. That's a real wash. We'll stay with 4-3 because you think that Jair is the better one. I think that Birdie was the better one there. But they're both great players. So we'll stay with 4-3. You go to the 14, Jaden Campbell versus Nathan Peets. I do think JC wins that one there. Would you agree?
They're so different players, though.
They are very different players.
Yeah, they're so different players. So I think for the benches, you've almost got to compare them as a whole.
Okay.
And I probably give the benefit to you there as well, man, if I'm honest. Like, Jolliffe and Douglas are genuine middle forwards. Minnie and Cooper aren't. Now, I do have versatility with Foz there, who can play hooker and 5'8", and Peets, who can play lock and hooker. But I'd probably give the bench to you as well, man, even with that random pick of Jonas Pearson, just because two genuine middle forwards replacing Fodawaker and Bailey gets you the win there, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I'll take that. And then with coach, you're cheeky, but I will give it to Desi. I will give it to Desi. But that based off of my ranking, that's 5-4 to me. But we want to hear from you guys in the comment section there. And do give us some grace, guys. 10 seconds is not easy.
Like, man, you look at some of the players we've forgotten already, and it's just unbelievable to think. I couldn't think of our former captain, Ryan James, or who else was it? It was Ashley Harrison when I'm looking for a middle forward. Like, those are names that, with preparation, I'm like probably taking as one of my first picks, if I'm absolutely honest. Yeah. But yeah, the fact we didn't even look at like the list of Titans players before as a refresher made it really hard. What about Paul Carter? An interesting one, because he was actually really good for us in 2014, man, but just didn't play enough, I suppose.
Another one you could have thought of in the centres was BK, Brian Kelly.
Yeah, he's been there for a while now.
You could have mentioned as well, which was Jared Wallace, who was pretty good for his days with the Gold Coast Titans. And that's why I thought of that, because I remember, I think it was like 2 years ago, that play against the Broncos, where he's away, he's open down the field at Seabus, and then literally he's running, it's on a treadmill, man. Like, it's on a straight up treadmill, and then just loses the ball completely. It was so honest. He wasn't even tackled, it was nothing. He just completely just...
So that is honestly one of the funniest NRL moments.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one you just never forget. If you were there or you're watching, you'd never forget that.
No, I was there.
Daniel Mortimer. That was one we didn't mention when we mentioned like halfbacks that were kind of there. This guy will never end up on too many people's top 17 Titans all the time, but I loved his go. Ignatius Parsi. Did you rate him?
Yeah, Ignatius Parsi.
Yeah, I loved him off the bench.
He was part of the Hair Bears, man. It was Ignatius Parsi. Who was the other guys? Leverhard Pulu, who I actually spoke to again. He played for the Brisbane Tigers, so I saw him at the grand final. I had a chat with him, which was good. But yeah, no, that was some fun days. Not great days results-wise, but fun days.
Yeah, and there's so many, like, although there were like bad times for results, I've got so many awesome memories. So I remember the first game Pulu put the headgear on. He scored like 2 or 3 tries against the Sharkies. He turned into Superman that day with the headgear. That was around the time our back rowers were Chris McQueen and Zed Taya. They could have been some handy picks.
Yep.
Who else could we have gone in this
I think
one?
I probably would have, if I didn't get Scotty Prince, I wouldn't have thought of Jerome Hughes because that was a definite cheeky one. I probably would have struggled, and I might have just said Ash Taylor. I may have said Ash Taylor because I think that when I think of halfback that's not Scotty Prince at this club, I do think of Ash Taylor because he tried so hard, it just didn't work out. And did have his really good moments. But I was, if I didn't get Scotty Prince, then I probably would have selected Ash.
I would have gone, and this is different now because we've got reflection and we can think about it. If you hadn't have selected either, I would have put Aiden Caesar in 7, and I would have put Kieran Foran in 6. That's the way I would have gone about it.
There's a lot of people out there who'd be screaming, saying, "Why wouldn't you select Jamal Fogarty?" And there's a reason I don't select Jamal Fogarty, to be completely honest with you. But he is, with all kind of negative things aside, Jamal should probably be selected in 2nd behind Scotty Prince, with all negative things aside. But with that being said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I still think that Jamal's in that range of like Ash Taylor's, Kane Elgie's, Dan Mortimer's, where they held the jersey and they were consistent enough in the jersey, but they never really excelled in the jersey. And that's why I think we need to get around Tanner Boyd, man.
Yeah, Tanner Boyd.
Yeah, that's why it's actually exciting, man, because these are guys that, like, they're not just holding the jersey. They're actually growing every week and improving. And I think as fans, we should really be getting around them because we do have an opportunity to unlock our next superstar seven since, realistically, Scotty Prince. And even Scotty Prince, man, like, completely love what he did in the jersey, but I hated that he went back and finished his career at the Broncos and now coaches their women's side.
Yep.
Like, that's our biggest rivals, man. And you were our biggest legend. Now Preston Campbell is undoubtedly the Titans' GOAT.
I would have always said Presto was our biggest legend.
I know he played for one of our clubs that folded. I believe it was the Chargers. Obviously, could have been joining the Seagulls, but that's what I loved as well.
Presto played Chargers, Sharks, and Panthers before, obviously, us.
That's why I loved when he came back to the Titans. It was awesome. Kevin Proctor played over 100 games for us, but really...
No, I think that would have been fair to chuck him into the back row, to be fair, but his best form was obviously the Melbourne Storm.
Someone who played 3 games for us, and they weren't in their best form, but I actually really rated them at the Broncos, was Daniel Vito. He was like a Brian Toto before Brian Toto.
Could just make... now.
Yeah, it's quite random, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really handy. Max King. Probably wouldn't have picked him, but would have loved to have hung on to him.
Well, I think that he just didn't really get too much of an opportunity with us. So, I know Maxie well. I know his family well. They're great, and it was great for them to beat the club. But unfortunately, I would love for him to come back, but we don't have the room for him anymore because our forwards are just too juicy. We've got Tino, Mo, Jimmy Jolliffe, we've got Keenan Butterseer, and now Christy Randall. We've got there's too many. We've got too many forwards at this point. So
we do.
But yeah, Maxi King would have actually been a good selection for the bench, in my opinion.
You know who actually did, and this is almost turned into like just a remembering our former times, which is cool. Hopefully our fans enjoy, our listeners enjoy listening as well.
Well, it's off-season as well. Oh, Chris Gressmore, yeah.
I thought he was a good player until I found out what he was doing off the field, and obviously when you do that, you can't really be a part of the club. Crazy.
Another player that I honestly think I could have put him into the centres is Jamal Idris. I could have put Jamal Idris into the centres. I think that although I really hated the way he ended his career with the Titans by saying he said, one day I want to be the captain of the Gold Coast Titans. I remember this. I will always remember this. One day, quote, I want to be captain of the Titans. Literally 2 weeks later, the guy left the club. 2 weeks later, Jamal Idris had left the club. I do not lie to you. So I will say Jamal Idris was really good at the doggies, and it would have been great for him to really lead up to the Titans. But that shows you, if you're a new fan of the Gold Coast Titans, this is what we've had to put up with.
Yeah, man. Like, it's so, you just can't believe it, can you? Like,
2 weeks.
Oh my god.
2 weeks.
Oh man. Another player I really loved, he had a good go about him every game, Keegan Hipgrave.
Yeah, he's a Gold Coast boy through and through as well.
Yeah, I used to actually play him growing up. Flash Gordon, would he be someone you consider in the centres or fullback instead of Zillman?
Are you talking about Kevin Gordon?
Michael Gordon.
Michael Gordon. Yeah, no, Michael Gordon could have been a shout. Yeah, he held us down in some pretty tough years.
Yeah, he was awesome. This is really around the Garth Brennan era now. Like Leilani Latu and Bryce Cartwright, respectfully, who came across from the Panthers, as did Mitch Rain. I knew at the time these are not the right Panthers players we should be grabbing. The players I said at the time was Moses Leota, who I don't think he debuted yet, and Viliami Kikau. Can you imagine, dude, if we had to sign those two?
Yeah.
Instead of respect, like that's a back row and a prop. So, instead of Latu and Cartwright, if we got those two, geez, that would have been so handy.
I think another one, if you wanted to select a utility, could have been Brad Takarangi, or you could have also selected, there was another one that I was looking at just now, which was, where is he? Sam Tagatese. I thought back in the day he was pretty good for us before he obviously went to the Sharkies.
Yeah. He is a great enforcer.
Yeah.
Shannon Boyd, I wouldn't pick him even though he did come to us as a ruse player. I thought he was really underwhelming. You could kind of tell he didn't care. He didn't love footy anymore. Like, he'd got his big paycheck and he was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Which just really sucked for us. Same as Tyrone Peachy, really. Like, he's rebuilding his career now with the Panthers on a bottom dollar contract and playing great footy again. But it's like, dude, you got the big money contract because you were a Blues player. And I hated the quotes before he got here, saying, I've told my manager what I want him to do.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just say that you want to come to the Titans. Like, that's all we want to hear as fans.
I'm actually surprised that on the wing you went Jordan Rapana and not Phil Sammy.
Yeah. On reflection, I would swap him.
Or Greggy Marcy
Jesse
on
Arthurs.
the wing as
I wish
well.
we had kept him as well. You know the thing about Jesse Arthurs as well? He was the he was another Storm under-20s fullback. Yeah. And they thought at the time he could be the dude to replace Slater. Then they thought Hughes could be. Then they thought Drinkwater could be. Then they thought Pappenhausen could be. Then they thought Hines and now Farlongo. It's wild how many fullbacks they've had there. I love Jesse Arthurs. I wish we had re-signed him. Bro. I hated that he went to the Broncos. It was like, dude, don't use this as a stepping stone.
I really wish that you had have messed up before you got both your centres, because otherwise I would have made sure you got Patrick Herbert. Not because he wasn't good for our club, just because you would have lost every day of the week against Titans fans, because no one's going to vote for you when you have Patrick Herbert as your centre. And I loved Paddy, and he actually didn't have as bad a career here as people think. But that moment will forever live in Titans fans' heads. So it would have been, I would have won the draft at that point had I thought of that.
He's not even playing footy anymore, man.
Yeah, no,
after he got released from us, he's not been picked up by anyone else. I wonder if he retired. I remember his debut for the Warriors against Storm. He always had really good potential. We just needed to slip like a Mouldy All-Stars jersey underneath his Titans one, and he would have been a beast every week. He used to go to a new level.
You know what? I should have actually gone with Sammy Verrills as the number 9 too. I did go with Matty Srama, and I'm happy with Matty Srama, but like Sammy Verrills would have been a good shout, even though he hasn't played that many games for us.
Jermaine Osaka would have been a super cheeky one.
That would have been
given what he's just done this year.
I would not have accepted that. I would not have accepted Jermaine Osaka. Absolutely not. Jermaine Osaka for us never lived up to it. Loved the guy, but never lived up to it. And I did make him miss his kicks this year for the Dolphins. But if you take him for his Broncos, I'm okay. You take him for his Dolphins, absolutely. But you cannot take him for his Titans. No way.
You know, the thing is too, with Jermaine Osaka, every single newspaper report said he was going to the Eels, and then a photo pops up on social media of him shaking hands with Steve Mitchell in this Titans polo, this exact polo. And
I remember that, yeah. I actually remember that because everyone just kind of freaked out, and they were like, wait a second, wasn't everyone saying they just signed with the Eels, and now he's signed with the Titans?
Yeah, that was crazy. And then really we're at the modern team now, like who we have at the moment. And really, I mean, I went Chrissy Randall because I was stuck on someone.
I don't think Sammy Lazzoni would have been the worst option.
Yeah, I always liked his energy from the bench, particularly. Big boy, came from the Warriors, had those strong hit-ups. Aaron Clark would have been another great one as well to get.
Yeah.
I mean, we've literally scrolled through every single Titan there is there. You know, I'm really interested to see here, for people on YouTube, because we can actually see and react to your comments. Spotify, Apple, you have to DM us on Instagram or whatnot, whatever it might be. Would you guys be interested in us to go through like literally every single Titan? Maybe we go 1 to 100 on one podcast and split it up this off season and just give a memory or a highlight or something from their time. Not a bad idea, actually. I would actually enjoy that, man. Like, you know, there's so many players here where like I'm thinking of a moment I remember at Seabaths, or I remember meeting them at training, or I remember how we signed them, or why they left. Like, there's almost something I can think for every single player here. I reckon that'd be a really cool podcast idea if people are down for it. Yeah. You know, how we reviewed our players this year. We could do like reviewing every single Titan ever and give every single player that's ever pulled on the jersey a 1 out of 10.
Bro, do you remember Daniel Conn?
No.
You know, Daniel Conn, didn't he get absolutely flogged in a Titans jersey once? He got absolutely romped in a fight. I remember it, Daniel Conn. It was early days, man.
I need to YouTube that.
Yeah, I think it was at the Titans. I'm just going to quickly make sure. It's either at the Roosters or the Titans, but I'm pretty certain it was Daniel Conn. And he got into this major biffo and got rocked.
Dude, yeah, I see. Round 4, 2008.
Yeah, Michael
He vigorously tackled Michael Wayman with a swinging arm.
Here we go.
Wayman reacted poorly and threw punches after the play, the ball breaking his nose.
Oh, yeah, watching it as we speak. He's getting absolutely... Are you watching it?
No, dude, but we need to bring that up right now so other people can see it.
He got sent
you know
off.
The craziest thing about this?
We were leading.
He was on Geordie Shore. He was on Geordie Shore season 6.
I do remember
which
that.
is like a huge in the UK. He had a romance with Vicky Patterson.
No, okay, we're going to stop now. We'll use this for another podcast. We'll go through and we'll talk about one thing from each player. That's funny. That's actually, a pretty good idea. But I just watched the replay of it against Canberra. We're up 20-6 with 14 minutes to go, and Michael Wayman got sent off. And you should see Daniel Con's face is something else, man.
Daniel Con, Titans career, 2 out of 10. Reality TV and ability to take a punch, 10 out of 10.
Oh, I don't know if ability to take a punch is actually right if you watch his face, man.
Okay. So we're looking more of a 5 out of 10 or we lower?
Dude, we're looking at this guy definitely went to the hospital that night.
We're looking at a negative 1 out of 10.
Well, he didn't get knocked out, which is actually a good start. But his face got knocked. His face doesn't look great.
I'm in, man. I'm in. We need to go through and rate every single Titans play. That will be a really, really fun podcast.
And that could even be over 2 podcasts as well, to be fair, because we got the off season. So that would, if we film it all at once, and then we can kind of put it across 2 episodes and whatnot.
I reckon, man. We've had 186 people don the jersey now. I reckon even if you divide that into 3, that's 62 players per episode.
Well, I guess we could record that and then over the Christmas period and whatnot, because then we can still have a podcast go out for everyone, and we can obviously enjoy Christmas, but you'll still have us talking about Daniel Con.
Yeah. Our Geordie Shaw superstars.
Yeah.
But this was honestly a really fun podcast. I think the key thing we need to ask, I know we've asked a fair bit of our listeners, is let us know who won. We want to know which side you prefer out of these. I'll put my hand up right now. I think you got me. I was horrible.
It is closer than you think.
But yeah, it is close. But really, really fun. Really, really great podcast. Completely ad-lib. Everything we spoke about tonight was off the cuff. You know what, guys? I think next week we'll be back with either a Titans trivia, where we give each other tough questions on the spot. And we've seen I fold under the pressure tonight, so I'm not looking forward to that. Or we'll be back with reviewing every single Gold Coast Titans player ever. But regardless, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a lot of fun recording this episode. And look forward to seeing you back next week. Thank you very much, Titans fans. That's all from me. And over to you, Blaze, to farewell the show.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys as per usual. Obviously, it doesn't usually happen with Clarkey's internet, or it could even be my internet to be fair, but it just might not be us translating. But it's not always like this. So do obviously forgive us, especially with it being the off season. We're doing our best to still create content, despite the fact that our team actually finished playing rugby league about 2 months ago now. The Titans actually finished playing rugby league at the beginning of September, so at least we had the women's team that kept us cracking along. But yeah, look, it's obviously been a good time. This was a fun episode. Comment below, obviously on YouTube. Hit that like button as well. Subscribe if you're new around here, because there will be content every single week. Plus, also, what was the other one? Spotify. Give us a rating on Spotify or Apple. We appreciate you as usual, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.